trying to keep it family friendly here with today's sponsorship, The Game of Life. Who doesn't love that board game? I remember playing that game so much growing up. I would personally always bypass school and start working because as a kid, the idea of school was the last thing you wanted to do. But today, the Game of Life is introducing a new tagline and a new spokesperson. Maximus, take it away.
What we doing live? Echoes in eternity.
All right, great new tagline, really catchy. Now that the ad is over, just asking everyone to please hit pause right now if you're on Apple Podcasts, and please just give us a quick review and rating. We've been lucky enough to have a slight increase in those lately, but the more the better, the more relevant we are. So please just quickly hit pause, give us a rating and a review, and then come back to us and keep listening to the podcast.
Lights, camera, action.
And the winner is...
Welcome back to the Oscar Real Movie Podcast, episode 17. Feel like, well, we have done more than that because we've done a couple half episodes, but feels like it's been years of our lives doing this. But here we are, episode 17. Big episode coming up. We watched 3 movies to get ready for this, which was a surprise to you.
It was. I know. We watched one of them. I was like, you're like, okay, here's the next one. I'm like, wait, why are we watching this one too? Why did we watch the other one in the first place?
So it's the 2000 year of film in 2000. So Gladiator won Best Picture. But another reason this is a big episode, we have our first guest on the episode. We have Josh Goch with us, who's a friend of both of ours, but someone I used to work with. And then he decided to leave and move out of the Madison area. But also a big movie fan. Welcome to the podcast, Josh.
Matt, Haley, thanks for having me. I am so excited. And I don't know if you know this, but what we do in this podcast echoes in eternity.
Right. Well,
no pressure.
We're how many seconds in? And there's the first Gladiator reference. Cool. Yep. So he's on here because
I didn't even pick up on that.
Oh, you didn't? Perfect.
Over my head.
Oh, man. So we
coming.
we invited Josh on. Or he wanted to be on because Gladiator is one of his favorite movies. So we're happy to have him on here. What's up?
I'm going to attempt not to swear at all during this.
Swear as much as you want. fuck, shit.
Okay. All right. Well, now that you've said that, I will censor myself, but I won't freak out if I get to swear.
I try not to swear as much as possible, but it's not a big deal. We have the explicit mark on our podcast, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck, shit, son of a bitch.
Okay, no.
Too much?
Yeah.
Okay. First segment we have is what we've been watching, reading, or whatever, but we can treat it as that and what's just been going on. What's been going on in the life of Josh and the Gotches over there.
Big things happening over here. Mainly, I'm no longer a student anymore, which is pretty awesome. So I could, a lot more free time. So I get to just hang out a little bit more, get my life in order, which means I do have a lot more time on my hands for movies, reading, and video games. And it's been
the
awesome.
Important things in life.
Yeah, and hanging out with my wife. I love my wife dearly.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
You said that 4th or 5th, so we know where it really ranks. That's okay.
So, but I've had just a giant list from all my friends, you guys included, on things I need to watch and read, and it's nice to finally start catching up on that. So,
like you're coming out of a coma or something, like here are the things you've missed while you've been asleep.
Yes, my sister berated me the other day for not having watched Ozarks, so there's that.
I watched the first 2 episodes and that's it of that show. We've watched more of The Outsiders with Jason Bateman.
Yep.
Acting and directing that one. I've seen more of that than I have the Ozarks, but I know Ozarks is good. He won an Emmy for it. I should watch it. I'm lazy. There's too many shows to watch, so yeah. I know I've been, other than the 3 movies that we watched to get ready for this episode, which this is either gonna be the best episode or it's gonna go down in flames. So we'll see how it goes. But I went and saw a buddy who lives up in the Sparta La Crosse area, and we rewatched. We do a thing where whenever we see each other, we try to watch a trilogy, and so we rewatched Die Hard. But we only got through the first 2 because just other things came up. So I rewatched Die Hard 2. He's never seen Die Hard before.
That blew me away. I was so surprised.
Yeah, he's never seen Die Hard. So I was like, okay, I guess we're watching that. Got through the first 2. I don't know. We'll probably pick up after that at some point. But I've been trying to get caught up on Clone Wars, too. I'm almost done the season 4. More than halfway through season 4, because the new season starts up. We're recording on Thursday the 20th. So tomorrow the new season, or the last season, starts up. So I've been trying to get caught up on that. Have you watched Clone Wars, Josh?
I've only seen the first season, and I really liked it. Once again, add to the list of things that I haven't.
Yeah.
No. Find time to do. Yep.
Yes, exactly.
And then the last thing I had is I've been in, since Parasite won Best Picture, I've been in a foreign film kind of mood. Mm-hmm. So I haven't watched these yet, but I went to a pre-owned movie game store and bought a couple Kurosawa films. One of which I have seen in Rashomon, but I've never seen Ran, because this is a guy who did Seven Samurai and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I bought a couple of his movies, which I'm excited to watch because, yeah, I'm just in that kind of mode, I guess. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. What about you, Haley?
I've been kind of low key lately. I feel like I've finished up all the shows I've been wanting to watch. I started watching old seasons of The Amazing Race.
That's right. That's cool. Let's watch some old reality show.
Yep. So yeah, I watched. I watched. I don't even remember what season it was, but this season of Survivor has all winners, and so I went back, and one of the winners, she was also on Amazing Race. I'm like, oh, let me go back and watch her season. So watched her, and that was kind of exciting. But yeah, I haven't been watching a whole lot. Getting ready for this episode, I told Matt we get the Olympic channel with YouTube TV. And so I've been watching the Olympic channel a lot.
Seriously?
Not actively, but
life.
Kind of on in the background. So they had speed skating on. So I was watching speed skating as I was getting some notes ready for the show. So I don't know. There's always... No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, are those reruns of previous Olympics, or are they time trials leading up to the next Olympics?
It's just world championships, world events.
Are they leading up? Do you know? Are they? Because it would make sense, right? This time of year or this year for it to be stuff leading up to.
Most of what's airing right now is winter type sports. A couple weeks ago, they had luge and skeleton on. Tonight was speed skating. So it's all been winter stuff. But a couple weeks ago, I think they had swimming trials and stuff. It wasn't the official final Olympic trials. So I think those won't be for a while. But no, random.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of the Olympics, so when there's nothing else on, I put on the Olympic channel.
Nice. All right, cool. Did you want to lead us into the trailer park?
Sure. We've got 3 very interesting, very different, very off-the-wall trailers this week, I feel. The first one is The French Dispatch, which is the newest film from Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
So that fits the off-the-wall kind of feel to it. Huge cast. Benicio del Toro, Jeffrey Wright, Tilda Swinton, Timothy Chalamet, Frances McDormand. I feel like I could go on and on.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in this film.
Yeah, I'm admittedly not the biggest Wes Anderson fan. His style, which is a style in it of its own, I'm not a huge fan of. I did really like Grand Budapest Hotel, though. That was one from a couple of years ago or whatever. That I did really like that one, but overall, I'm not usually a huge fan of his. But
I don't think I've ever seen one of his from start to finish. So they just all look kind of weird, and it's never something that really interests me. So I don't really have a take.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is. I mean, his style is in and of its own. You can just tell this movie included that it's Wes Anderson. I mean, It's asymmetrical. I think he kind of goes for that kind of style of just, same, like balancing everything on the same, like mirror images almost. It's got Bill Murray. I don't know if you mentioned his name, but Bill Murray's in every Wes Anderson film.
Mhm.
They're adding Timothée Chalamet, who looks like he should be
like
in a
Wes Anderson
film. So, yeah, I mean, this is a movie that people who love Wes Anderson will probably love it, and I'll maybe see it. I don't know. I don't even know what it's about either. It looks like it's about journalism to some degree. I don't know. Josh, are you a Wes Anderson fan?
I am not a big Wes Anderson fan. I'm like Haley. I don't think I've ever seen a Wes Anderson film from beginning to end. This trailer looked exactly like what I would expect a Wes Anderson trailer to look like. When you were talking about the number of actors that are in this, they rattled off like 12 actors, and then there was like the big break-in scene where everybody's busting through the walls, and there's like 14 other names that show up.
Yeah.
Right, I know.
Willem Dafoe's like the 12th ranked actor listed. Like, what is going on? So I'm not the person to ask about this because I'm not a big Wes Anderson fan, but I think it's going to be an amazing cast. It's exactly what you'd expect. But when you guys were talking about like it's about, like kind of journalism, but it's also about the press because it looks like they're making movies, kind of. I have no idea what this movie actually is about after watching the trailer. I'll be completely honest.
Yeah, no, you're probably not alone in that because there's probably one or two other talking on this podcast that feel the same way. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, even Grand Budapest Hotel had a giant cast list, but then when you actually saw the movie, it was really just Ralph Fiennes, and everyone else would have like a 2-second scene. So maybe it'll be something similar to that. So it will be, when you're juggling a huge cast like this, it can either be really good or really bad. Wes Anderson's been around the block, so I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah.
I don't know. This, even though Grand Budapest Hotel had it was nominated for Best Picture, Director, got all the accolades, it still didn't draw me to go. I didn't want to go see it in theaters still because of that. So this movie will probably, the same thing will happen where it'll get nominated for a bunch of Oscars, and I'll be like, all right, cool. Well, when I see that it's on TV, maybe I'll watch it. I don't know. But that's just me with Wes Anderson. So
yeah, no, I'm the same boat.
Do we know when this one comes out? I didn't write that down at all.
Let's see here. French Dispatch.
I keep wanting to call it the French Connection.
Can I beat you to it? July 24th.
Okay, there you go. Hey, that's the day the Olympics start.
Cool. Full circle.
Bringing it back together. Yep.
All right, perfect. Love it. Okay.
Tokyo 2020.
This next movie is interesting. What did you want to hear? Go ahead and introduce it.
No. No, I'm just kidding. Next is The Iron Mask, which has Jackie Chan and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it is the strangest looking thing. Jackie Chan's old prisoner, super long hair, super old looking guy. I'm thinking he helps get the Iron Mask out of jail, prison. I don't know.
I don't know.
But
I didn't know
they're in London Tower, so of course, who's playing the British guard? Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, right?
Yeah, and it takes place in London, and you know what else is in this? A fucking dragon.
Exactly. What is going on?
Yeah, I don't know. This movie, I wanted to include this because when I saw the trailer, I was like, this is a made-up movie. This is not a real movie, right? This is a fan-made trailer or something. But no, it's real. Arnold Schwarzenegger is just himself in what kind of outfit do they call that?
Well, just colonial British officer is kind of what I think of, with the powdered wig.
And he's talking in his normal accent.
Austrian accent.
And Jackie Chan, just jumping around, probably doing his own stunts. And I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea what this is about. I mean, I have it up on IMDb. And it's what is this? Early 1700 cartographer. Back in map, Russian Far East, he's forced on to China where he confronts the Dragon Master. The Iron Mask Russian Tsar escapes Tower of London to a Russian ship. I don't know. That summary doesn't even make sense. I don't know if anyone knows what this movie's about.
Okay, I was looking into this a little bit because I'm like, what is this even about? And they released a version of this in China.
Yeah.
And honestly, how that description read, I feel like that's someone probably very terribly translated from Chinese to English. And they're just close enough. It kind of matches the feel of the trailer.
That sounds like somebody took a bong rip and is trying to explain something. That
Yeah.
really.
Oh, here's something. I'm on IMDb. Apparently, it's a sequel to Forbidden Kingdom. Does anyone, either of you, remember that movie?
I do remember that movie, but I don't. That was one of those, like, it was on TV, and I watched a little bit from it. Like,
Yeah, that one had Jackie Chan in it as well, if I remember right.
Wasn't that one with Jet Li too?
Yeah, that's what I want to say. Or maybe I'm thinking. Anyways, this movie looks weird. There's a dragon that shows up in this too. I have no idea what this movie's
And the
on.
visual effects look terrible.
Yeah, it looks
so
terrible all around. Yeah, I just want to throw this in here as just a comedic relief of, like, I can't believe this is a real movie. So yeah, you mentioned this was released in China already. Let's see when it comes out.
It'll be out April this year.
Okay, April this year in the U.S. So go to Fandango, buy those tickets to see the Iron Man.
Get right on it.
Yeah, but yeah, it looks like a weird remember the Leo movie, The Man in the Iron Mask? Yeah, it looks like a weird version of that, right? Like there is someone in an iron mask, and who knows?
And dragons.
It'll be a twin of someone, I guess, because that's what happened in the Leo one.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This is so weird.
By the way, somehow that got greenlit in Hollywood. I just want to point that out.
They'll greenlight almost anything, I guess. Because, yeah, this is insane. We could write a movie. Let's write a movie.
I was say, but on the flip side, you have movies that barely get made, and it's like, what? How did that not get more recognition, more attention? So, whatever. So weird. Okay, last trailer of the week.
Yeah.
So heading into some TV action here for this next. I guess not really a full-length trailer, just a teaser. But Stranger Things Season 4 is coming back in April. And guess who else is back? Hopper.
Yeah.
Hopper's alive.
That was basically all the teaser was. It was Russia. They were showing, like, workers outside in the snow working along a railroad or whatever. And they zoom in on one of them, and it's Hopper. So confirming he's still alive, which I don't think is a surprise to anyone who watches Stranger Things. Have you seen all of Stranger Things,
yeah.
Josh?
I'm all caught up. I'm good.
Okay. Just making sure.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Because there's a mid-credit scene or after the credit scene or whatever for season 3 where it's them in Russia and they show a prison cell.
Like a jail cell, yeah.
And they just say that there's an American in there. I'd say, like, 80-90% people probably figured it was Hopper, but this just confirms it. So are we happy that Hopper's back or that they're doing a season 4? How do we feel?
I mean, I'm not like stoked about the fact that they're going like international to final season, but I'm glad he's back. I didn't want him to die. So.
Okay. Well, they had that touching scene at the end of season 3, so it's like, does that ruin that at all? But yeah. I don't know. It makes sense to bring him back. I mean, he's one of the best parts of that show, but they kind of gave him a pretty decent send-off in season 3, so it's one of those things where are you detracting from the end of that at all?
I'm wondering why they decided to throw him in the teaser, because they could have done just about anything Stranger Things related and everyone will have lost their collective minds. Like, they could have zoomed in on, like, it could have been like his terrible Hawaiian shirt that he was wearing like the entire season 3. They could have zoomed in on that, like in the basement of that Russian lab, just kind of floating around, and then people would have been, "Oh my God!" We would have been speculating, but now we've seen his face. It's like it's kind of, I don't know.
That's a good point.
No, you're right. It's true because most of their teasers, I feel like every other year, there's no footage, right? It's just like the Stranger Things logo slowly comes on screen to the music, and then the number 3 or 2 just pops up in the middle. Yeah. So yeah, they just decided to get it out of the way. Hopper's still alive right away in the teaser. So I guess it is what it is. But you're right. I guess they're going to go international. They're getting out of Hawkins. So I know you said you don't like it, but I'm okay with it because they've been in Hawkins for three seasons. So let's go somewhere new.
Do in a little
that town's getting hit with a lot of stuff. So let's go out of town a little bit. So I don't mind it too much. But yeah, I mean, not a whole lot there or to talk about other than Hopper's back. I don't know. either you have anything else on the teaser other than you're excited that it's coming back?
I'm fired up about. I love Stranger Things. It's a great show. I think it's going to be interesting that it's going international. I know initially when it's the Duffy brothers, right?
Yes, that sounds right.
Duffer.
Yep. Duffer.
Yep.
Okay.
I think.
I'm either giving credit to our former senator from Wisconsin, or I'm giving credit to somebody that's not them. So, anyways, but they initially, if I remember correctly, decided they wanted to make it episodic. That every single season was kind of like connected, but like separate and like different storylines. And then they kind of fell in love with the cast from the first season and kept going with it. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do once they go international and we're not in Hawkins. So.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Like anthology. Well, not anthology, because that's like same cast, different plot. But yeah, I didn't know that about Stranger Things, so that's cool. But yeah, the cast is really good, so I don't blame them for just sticking with it. Hopefully it's good. I mean, I'm sure it will be, but season 2 was kind of a letdown. Season 3.
Yeah, season 2 is not great.
Season 3 was really good, so hopefully they keep it going. But yeah, definitely excited for it. So. Well, I'm sure we'll get another trailer and talk about it down the road sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
So speaking of other trailers, did you guys, I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but they dropped the season 3 trailer for Westworld. Today.
I watched it earlier today. Did you see it, Haley?
No, I didn't.
Did you? I've only seen season 1 of Westworld. I liked it, but it wasn't like, I wasn't in love with it for me to keep watching it, but I'm assuming, are you all caught up on Westworld, Josh?
I am. Are we doing a spoiler-free zone right now, just in case you want to watch season 2, or?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. I know, because I've seen I saw the trailer for season 2, and now I've seen the trailer for season 3. I kind of get the idea that Dolores seems to be, well, I guess is she just a bad guy now, or is she like still a good guy and trying to do the resistance for the robots? Like, what's going on with Dolores?
Yeah, it's kind of ambiguous depending on the day, whether she's like completely bloodthirsty, like murder hobo, or she's a freedom fighter that's like fighting for these people that they're created and enslaved. I don't know. It depends on the episode. But once again, I haven't seen the season 3 trailer yet, so I'm not sure what it's going to be like outside the park, quote unquote. So, but I'm fired up about it.
Yeah. In the they're pitting what's her name, Thandie Newton and Dolores, like kind of against each other. It seems like someone is like hiring or ordering Thandie Newton to kill Dolores. So
okay,
that's where I was like confused, and that's just because I haven't seen season 2. I'm like, well, they're both robots, but they're fighting against each other, so I don't really know who's the good guy or the bad guy. But is James Marsden still in that show?
No. I don't know, because at the end of season, Haley, did you watch all of season 2?
No.
Okay. All right.
I didn't even really watch season 1. So.
All right. So we'll get into spoiler zone. A lot of the characters end up dying, but there's this ambiguous area at the end, like if they're going to like reboot some of the hosts. So he might be one of them. I don't know officially.
Okay.
So, but
okay.
Yeah. Teddy bit a bullet in the season multiple times. So
okay, I know. Well, he just had Sonic come out, so he's doing good things. So I just wanted to ask him, make sure.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay.
Okay. All right, awesome. Well, let's get into. We don't always have news, but we haven't done an episode in a while, so there's a handful of things that have come up in the last couple weeks. First up, it was, I think, footage, and someone just took screenshots of it, but the Batsuit with Robert Pattinson has been revealed. I think the clip was just a 5-second clip of him moving around, and then we've kind of seen the same 4 screenshots of the suit going around. So how are either you, Josh, I'll start with you. Are you a Robert Pattinson fan? How are you feeling about him as Batman or Bruce Wayne?
I actually really like him as an actor, regardless of what the Twilight series did to him and Kirsten Stewart, or the fact that our president decides to tweet nasty things about him and her, but that's besides the point. I really like him. I think he's a great actor. I think he's going to be really good as a sophisticated Bruce Wayne. I just think he kind of fits that mold. So I know there were a lot of people that were freaking out about him as the actor, but I'm totally fine with it. I actually got really excited for a second, thinking that maybe we were going to be getting like a Batman Beyond type suit, because everything initially was like shaded in red. So it was that black on red. I got real excited, but now some of the screenshots have come out. That's not the case. It is just straight up Batman. So,
yeah, I don't think I think there's just red lighting or something like that. So
yeah, I got excited.
Yeah.
So.
Haley, you were, I don't know if you're a fan, but you watched Twilight and read some of the books. You a Robert Pattinson fan?
I could take or leave him. I'm pretty indifferent.
Yeah. He's got 2 big movies coming out. He's in the new Christopher Nolan movie too.
Tenet?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So he'll have a big year coming out. But the suit looks kind of interesting. I don't know if either of you saw the rumors going around. Did you see the bat insignia and people saying that they think it's the gun, or it's a gun, and assuming it's the gun that like killed his parents.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind
he
of
like turned that into like the bat logo on the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know, like it's an interesting idea, but I don't know if I like it.
It's a little on the nose.
Yeah, just a bit. And how does he get the gun that many years after the fact? I don't know. But I did hear that rumor. Did you guys see that apparently there's a bunch of backlash on Twitter because a bunch of people are thinking it's a ripoff of the Marvel Daredevil costume, like the way the mask looks right now?
I did not see that, but I can see how it kind of looks like the Daredevil mask.
I would say the first time I saw the pictures, like not knowing what it was, I thought it was Daredevil.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, it's not upsetting me or anything, like maybe some people are, but that's what I thought. I'm like, oh, this kind of looks like Daredevil. I'm like, oh, it's Batman. All right, whatever.
They're the same. They're pretty similar.
Ben Affleck played both of them.
That's true. So. Ooh, good point. And that's the thing. Like I like Robert Pattinson. I have no problem with him as an actor, as Bruce Wayne. I really like Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. He was my favorite Bruce Wayne out of any of them. So I'm just like disappointed that he isn't in that role anymore.
Yeah.
But they're going with a younger like version of Batman, which I think is kind of interesting, right? It's him at a younger age, even though Christian Bale kind of did this in Batman Begins, but I feel like they're going even younger than that. So it'll be interesting. So yeah, I don't know. No issue with it. But yeah, people are freaking out about Robert Pattinson. But I think they just have the Twilight thing stuck in their head and people have to get past it. Next up, movie we just saw recently, the new live-action Aladdin. We finally saw that because it's on Disney+. They officially greenlit a sequel. Now, when I first heard about this, I assumed they were doing a Return of Jafar, but apparently Guy Ritchie is doing the sequel, and he said they're not doing Return of Jafar. So
is it going to be like an original type story?
An original sequel to Aladdin.
All right.
So... probably a good thing they're not doing Return of Jafar. I don't think that was kind of not considered a good movie in general.
It wasn't great.
Nope. I almost turned it on after we watched Aladdin, the live action one. I was like, oh, Return of Jafar. Oh, hi, Lindsay. How's it going?
Yes, we're on video. This is great audio right here. Is the fact that we're waving at my wife as she's passing through the camera.
Yeah, nice to see her. Anyways, so yeah, Return of Jafar, not really considered a good movie. Probably a good thing going with an original idea. You have more freedom to do whatever you want there. But
are they having some of the same cast?
I would assume so. I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I would assume so. Is Genie, so in the cartoon movies, he's still a genie. He just doesn't have a master. But was he turned into a human? Did you see the new live action, Josh?
I did see the new live action. So he was still kind of like a magical figure, like more of like a genasi or something, like a humanoid that's not like a genie. But I don't know. I don't know how they're going to play that, or Genie's going to be back. But there are people saying that Will Smith said he's willing to sign on. They haven't gotten any of the original actors officially signed on to the project yet. But I'm excited. And Disney should be excited because this made them $1 billion. So any live action product is going to make them a lot of money. So
yeah, they definitely care about that. So
yeah,
that's good. If anything, I hope they bring back the original cast, because the guy that played Aladdin, I'm trying to look up his name really quick. Mena Masad, he like apparently can't find work. Like
I heard that rumor. Yeah,
was in Aladdin, played Aladdin, like can't find work. So that's just kind of interesting. So
yeah, seems crazy to me.
if anything, I hope they do a sequel just so he can get it because it was good. Like I liked the movie and he was good in it. So I hope he can find some more work. But yeah, just want to briefly touch on it that they officially greenlit an Aladdin sequel. Also, this is probably another brief one, but I think Harrison Ford recently said that Indiana Jones 5 officially begins production in the spring. So he's putting the hat on, taking the whip out of the closet. That sounded kind of weird, but like
just a little.
But he's Indiana Jones, so yeah.
Context.
Exactly. Know what we're talking about, and it's not weird. Yeah, how do we feel about this? Indiana Jones 5. Haley, how do you feel about Indiana Jones? I know I grew up on the trilogy. I don't know how you feel about it.
I feel like Harrison Ford is going to be like his cranky old self. Like he's just going to be like crabby Harrison Ford, and that's what it's going to be. Like I don't really see there being like a story. I'm trying to figure out what the storyline would be. And it's probably him just being like angry at these little whippersnappers running around and shit.
And as far as I know, Shia LaBeouf isn't coming back, who played his son in the fourth movie, which I pretend didn't happen.
Yeah.
There was a fourth movie?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I have no idea what this is going to be about. I will say maybe he won't be as crabby because unlike Star Wars, he likes being in Indiana Jones movies. He loves playing Indiana Jones. I say that about Star Wars. Did you see what he said recently? Someone asked him about whether he was a Force ghost or not, and his response was, "I don't know what the fuck a Force ghost is, and I don't care."
Yeah, I take it he gives. It looks kind of like Harrison Ford gives 0 Fs at this point in time.
Yeah, well, he's in a movie with a CGI dog, so he doesn't give any fucks at all. Which apparently it opened at 70% Rotten Tomatoes, called a wild.
It's higher than I thought it would be.
Amazing, but anyways,
critic or audience score?
I think critic. We'll see what happens, but anyways, yeah, I don't know. The fourth Indiana Jones movie was just so bad that I don't see how. I mean, I can see how they can do it, but just odds are I don't see them recovering from that. Like, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Are you going to see it, though?
I mean, I might because it's Indiana Jones. So,
I feel like you would just because it's...
Yeah, so I guess they're going to get my money anyways, but I guess I'm hoping it'll be good. Like, I'm going to hand them my money, and no matter what, and I just hope that I'm happy by the end of it instead of sad.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Some people said maybe he's going to play a small role and they're going to be introducing a new character. But I don't know what's going to happen. So, let's see. Moving on. Oh, I don't know. I assume everyone here heard this or listened to it. Billie Eilish's new Bond song came out.
Oh, it's out.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Is it good?
It's really, really good.
I liked it, but it was almost too slow for me the entire time. I was like, you gotta ramp this up. Like, let's get, you know what I mean? I mean, we'll listen to it, I guess, later, but it was good, and I like Billie Eilish, and I'm sure it'll get an Oscar nomination because it's a Bond song. But for me, it was almost a little too slow. It was kind of down here the whole time, and I wanted it to ramp up and build up at some point.
Fair enough.
And part of it, too, is I need to see it in the movie because the movies always have those the graphics going on, or there's always something going on. A bunch of silhouettes will be going on, I'm sure, of the ladies, and then a gun will pop up out of nowhere and fire off or whatever. So I kind of need to see it in the movie, but just initial thoughts, it was good, but I was hoping it was going to be a little better, I guess. But all right, Rick. Oh, here we go. So Rick Moranis is coming back into acting. He's been retired for a number of years. They even asked him to come back for the Ghostbusters sequel that's coming out, and he said no. But what franchise did he say yes to? the Honey I Shrunk the Kids franchise.
I'm totally behind this. This is awesome. I actually watched with my wife. We decided to go through a bunch of old school movies from like our childhood just to see if they hold up. By the way, most of them don't.
No.
We watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He is fantastic in that movie. It's a ridiculous movie, but he's actually fantastic. Like, he had possibly like the best 5-year comedic run in like ever. He was in Ghostbusters, Little Shop of Horrors, Spaceballs, Ghostbusters 2, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in 5 years.
It's pretty good.
That's nuts. So I'm happy to have Rick back. I want Rick in my life.
I'm happy to have him back. I just can't believe that he said no to Ghostbusters and said yes to this. Like, nothing against Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I loved it as a kid. But Ghostbusters is clearly the quote-unquote more critically acclaimed, better-ish franchise.
I think that new Ghostbusters movie is not going to be good, though. I have not heard good things about it.
No, I haven't seen other than the trailer.
So maybe whatever potential story they have for the next, like, Honey, I Shrunk the whatever, man, it's going to be a better story.
Yeah.
How old is Rick these days? He's got to have, like, grandkids, right? Like... Maybe he's doing like the Adam Sandler thing. Like, Adam Sandler's doing movies that like his kids would like. So maybe Rick Moranis is doing it for like movies that his grandkids would like or something. I don't know, but could be what's bringing him out of retirement.
Maybe it's a possibility. He was born in 1953, so
that's right there.
Math. 66 years old. Who knows? Maybe that is the thing. I know, like, Martin Scorsese made that Hugo movie because like his grandkids couldn't watch any of his movies, so maybe that is something to do with it. But I don't know. I mean, it was funny. The last movie that Rick Moranis was in, live action at least, was the third Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie, which was that Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves direct. It was direct to DVD. That was actually the last movie he was in.
For real?
Yeah, wow. It was in 1997.
He did some voice acting, but he hasn't been anything live.
Like, he was one of the Moose in Brother Bear.
Oh, okay.
Remember that movie? He's done some voice stuff, but I think the last live action was the Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves movie in 97, which admittedly I watched a lot as a kid, but it's not a great movie. And that's, I guess, where I'm like, I don't know where else they can go with this Honey, like, We Shrunk the Kids franchise. So the first one, they shrunk the kids. The second one, they blew up the kid, made him giant. Mm-hmm. Third one, they shrunk themselves. So what else is there? What do we think it'll be?
The pets.
Pet? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Actually, like a giant pet.
I would say shrinking the pet, I don't think would work as much. You just lose it, and then they'd have no way to like do much about it. Make a giant. Now you got something. You manage giant Toby.
Oh my god.
Nightmare.
Yeah, you would be a nightmare. Or a cat.
A corgi rules the planet.
Yep.
Oh my god. But I'm actually interested with kind of what we've seen from the Ant-Man movies now that technology is actually really good to actually have something shrinking and expanding like that. I'm curious to see how it turns out. I think it'd be good, depending on the premise.
Yeah,
for sure.
We'll see what they decide to shrink or blow up in it. And Rick Moranis is coming back. The last thing I had here is something that Haley and I have already kind of touched on. I had the Oscars reaction. We put out an episode already where it's just our reaction to the Academy Awards. I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to talk about the Academy Awards, if you watched it, and if anything.
So I did watch a bit of it. So it turns out I wasn't paying attention to what Sunday it was actually coming on, and then was like, oh my god, the Oscars are on, and it's an hour and a half in already. So great. I think it was kind of interesting the fact that it was hostless this year. And if they're going to be doing if they do something where there's not a host, but there's like a group of individuals that are kind of helping be the MC, I think that could work down the line. It was weird to be like, and introducing whoever to introduce the next person. Like, it was
kind of, so Haley and I, we kind of touched on it, yes, because this is their second year in a row of going hostless. It's fine, but I think the thing that we talked about in our last episode, which if people out there haven't listened to it, go listen to it. Give us those downloads. Like, I'm going to watch it no matter what because I just like movies and the award ceremonies. But if they want their ratings back up, they probably need a host, like a face and a name to advertise and promote, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's kind of how I felt about it. Had you seen Parasite or any of those other, like, the big time nominees?
No. Joker is literally the next big film for me to watch. You saw that I texted you a picture of the movies that I bought the other day. So Joker is at the top of the list. That's the next one up. But I guess the only thing that surprised me is that Parasite won, simply because 1917 had such an incredible campaign, the momentum rolling in. It's one of the great wars. You know, it has kind of the English tinge to it because, you know, I don't know. I felt like it was something that wasn't going to be overcome. So the fact that Parasite won is incredible, especially for foreign films. But I'm just surprised that it beat out what I thought was going to be a juggernaut. So
yeah, that's kind of how. I mean, going into the night, that's kind of where I was feeling too. Like 1917 is probably going to clean house. Like they're going to take everything. But yeah, as the night went on, I'm like, I feel like you're talking about momentum. I feel like Parasite gained momentum like during the night.
Yeah, right.
It's like a fourth quarter comeback or something, you know.
which is not what's supposed to be happening during an award show. I didn't know momentum was a thing there.
Everyone behind the scenes are freaking out and they're scratching out 1917 and resubmitting their votes. But no, I mean, I'm glad you both felt that way and brought it up, because this is some stuff I forgot to bring up in our last episode. But this is the first time. So Sam Mendes, who directed 1917, he won the Directors Guild Award. And that's usually the really good, like, precursor, prerequisite, or whatever, predictor for the Academy Awards.
What word are we looking for?
I don't know. I just keep saying words, and people eventually know what I'm talking about. It's fine.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean. So obviously Bong Joon-ho ended up winning the Academy Award. So this was the first time since Ben Affleck where the winner of the DGA, the Directors Guild Award, didn't win an Oscar. And Ben Affleck, he'd won the Directors Guild for, Argo, and then he wasn't even nominated for an Academy Award. Haley and I were actually talking about this, like, recently.
Yeah, the other night.
I can't believe how did he not get an Academy Award nomination?
Because he won the Golden Globe, he won the BAFTA, he won the Directors Guild, and then did not even get nominated for an Academy Award.
Okay, what year was that? I need to look at these other ones that were up, because that's ridiculous.
It was 2012 was the year the movie came out. Okay. So if you Google, like,
2013 Best Picture.
Yeah, exactly. Or Academy Awards, however. I think it's the 85th
Yep.
Academy Awards. Seth MacFarlane hosted.
All right, Best Picture.
So it won Best Picture
or Best Director.
So
Life of Pi, Amour, Beasts of Southern Wild, Lincoln, and Silver Linings Playbook. How did he not get nominated? Yeah, I mean, look at it. Admittedly, I've seen 3 of the 5. Not turning this into like the 2012 Academy Award episode.
Yeah.
But I've seen 3 of the 5. Life of Pi, Lincoln, Silver Lining Playbook. I haven't seen Beasts of the Southern Wild or Amour, but yeah, I don't know. I feel he should have been in there. I mean, you got to take one of those 2 out. But so yeah, a little mini rant. I can't believe that Ben Affleck didn't get nominated for an Academy Award like 8 years ago or whatever it was. But yeah, I just thought it was awesome that Bong Joon came out with the W. Sucks for Sam Mendes, but he's won an Oscar already, so let's spread the wealth a little bit. So yeah. All right. So did you want to lead us into the first review?
Yeah. Maybe you'll give us a little background as to how since we're not doing like a current movie this week, kind of how we decided on this one or how we landed on it.
Yeah. So we closed the book on 2019 to an extent. I'm sure we'll see more movies that came out that year, but maybe not review all of them. So, and we're in that time of year where not a lot of great movies are in theaters. I guess there are some good ones, and we could go see them and review them, but just to save on time and money, there's plenty of movies out there that have come out or years before 2019 that we want to talk about. And Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is the one that we're going to be talking about today. I kind of wanted to do this one in response to Parasite winning Best Picture. It became the first foreign language film to win Best Picture, but Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was nominated and is a foreign language film. So kind of wanted to talk about that. And then it was nominated the same year as Gladiator. So, felt like that gave reason enough to watch it again and review it. Plus it was on Netflix, so it was kind of easy to watch.
Yeah, very true.
So
so perfect. Like you said, this came out in 2000. It was directed by Ang Lee, who I'm sure people have heard of. It stars Chow Yun-fat as he plays kind of a warrior. Maybe that's the right word. He's master.
Yeah, he's like a legendary warrior.
Yeah, Lee Mubai. Kind of his old friend and like fellow martial artist, Michelle Yeoh, plays his friend Yu Shu Lin. Again, hope I'm doing okay with these names, everyone.
That's why you're talking.
I know, so not you. That's why I do these. And then we also have the governor's daughter, Jen Yu, and that's played by Zi Yi Zhang. There we go. So those are kind of like the three main characters here. This movie was nominated for 10 Oscars. It ended up winning 4 of them. Cinematography went to Peter Pau. Original score for Dun Tan. They also won for art decoration, set decoration, and then Best Foreign Language Film. So it was also nominated for Best Picture, like you mentioned. Ang Lee was nominated for Director. They also had Adapted Screenplay, Costume Design, Film Editing, and Original Song. And honestly, the one that surprised me the most nowadays is Costume Design. I do not know how it lost Costume Design, but it lost to Gladiator.
Another period piece.
Oh, I can tell you why.
Yep. So, yeah, there you go.
So that's kind of the basic facts here behind the story.
Yeah. So, you met Ang Lee. He directed this. We kind of just brought up his name anyways because he directed Life of Pi and won that Oscar in 2012. But this was his first directing nomination, and he'd go on to win twice. One for Life of Pi, which you brought up, and then another one for Brokeback Mountain. He had directed.
Oh, I did not know he did Brokeback Mountain.
Yep. So this was his first Best Director nomination, but it was his second movie that he had directed that got nominated for Best Picture because he had directed Sense and Sensibility like 5 years prior in '95, and that got nominated for Best Picture, but he didn't get a nomination for it. So, I mean, Ang Lee's an all-time great director. He has unfortunately done movies like Hulk or Gemini Man too, but overall a great director. And this was kind of, he had done Sense and Sensibility, but I think this is the one that really put him on the map and made him really well known. So
I'd say we were like 10 years old when this movie came out, but I never saw it. This was the first time I saw it, but I feel like this movie was huge. This movie was just like crazy when it came out. So
it was a massive hit. Actually, I guess I can lead into one of the facts I had typed out here. This became the first foreign film to earn over $100 million in the U.S.
Oh, really?
It's like it was a huge movie at the time it was released. I hadn't seen it in years. I think I'd only seen it one other time. So watching it again, I overall enjoyed it. It was nice seeing it again. There were some things that I can get into later that I really liked or I didn't like as much the second time around. But, Haley, you can go first. What did you think of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? Was this the first time? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
First time you seen it?
Yep, this was the first time I saw it. Overall, I think it was really enjoyable. It was kind of a cool story, and it had some mystical elements to it, but some very tangible real life kind of things to it as well. So I loved all the action scenes. I think we said this as we were watching it, the choreography that went into this movie is unreal. So visually it was so appealing. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed that aspect.
Yeah, so they did wires, they didn't do CG for all the jumping around. They put everyone on wires and then they removed the wires post-production. So it was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Josh? Had you seen this before?
So this was actually the first time I had seen it, and my only interaction with it had been, I was 10 years old. My parents, they had kind of heard that this was the big film because I actually had to look this up. So this released over in several Asian countries in the summer, was a huge hit there. Then they released it actually in December here in the United States. So it had all this momentum as this huge foreign film. It's Christmas time. People need to be watching this movie. My parents saw it, and they said they didn't even stay in the theaters for the whole thing. Like, they detested it. Like, they just thought it was terrible. So, of course, I didn't watch it because, of course, your opinions are formed by your parents. Like, this is terrible. This movie is so up my alley. It's unbelievable. Like, I am a giant anime fan. DBZ, Rurouni Kenshin, Samurai Jack. Like, this was so cool. So watching this, like, I was kind of nerding out. When you talk about the choreography for the fighting, it was incredible. Just what they were doing, the different styles of martial arts that were being involved, the different weapon skills. I really loved it. I thought it was great. For me, some of the wire stuff didn't quite like it had. It's showing its age given it's 20 years old now with kind of how they float through the air on the wires, but I still think it was really cool. And I know it lost when it came to costume design to Gladiator, but I thought the sets and the costumes were amazing in this film. I can't say enough good things about this film.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Like, I think the wire thing ages better than if they just had CG, you know, because that'll age so much worse. Because there's actually one or two scenes where they do CGI. Like, I think the waterfall scene when Chow Yun-Fat's character is like floating down, that's CG, and that's going to date worse. But I get what you're saying with the wires because I mean, when you're on wires and you're falling, your body's going to react a certain way, so you can kind of tell like their feet are maybe kicking a little faster.
Like, I feel like that just kind of adds like that mystical type quality. Like, you realize these people aren't like really running across the rooftops like that, so it's like a little bit. Like, I think that gives them a little leeway with kind of how they use the wires, but it's also like an effect, like it's a little bit otherworldly kind of thing. So.
Yeah, sure. No, so I mean, for me, I like pretty much all the same stuff that both of you have talked about. The first 25 minutes of this movie went by really quick for me with the whole Michelle Yeoh's character is delivering the sword of destiny to, you know, a friend of Chow Yun-Fat's because he doesn't want it anymore because he doesn't want to fight and kill anymore. And then that whole like the thief steals it, and then that whole chase scene of Michelle Yeoh chasing the thief on the rooftops and everything, like all that was awesome. Went by so quick. You know, you met the choreography, nothing new there. I thought that was awesome. Pretty much all the fight scenes are amazing. Oddly enough too, there's two love stories that go on in this movie. I kind of liked them both. And for different, like, they're both kind of that forbidden relationship thing where it's the daughter of a governor or whatever her title is and a bandit. So it's like, okay, class difference there. They shouldn't be together, but they're in love. And then Chow Yun-Fat and Michelle Yeoh are clearly in love, but she was in love with like his best friend or brother, which
she was betrothed to the brother, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, it was initially, and that guy died.
Yep. So, and then in honor of like him dying, it's like, okay, we shouldn't be together, but clearly you're in love. So forbidden love there, but I thought it was really well done. I will say, so overall, really good movie. One of the things I was kind of disappointed with rewatching it is this movie is such smaller scale or like contained than I thought it was. It's basically about a guy, Chow Yun-Fat, who wants to have an apprentice in the thief who turns out being the governor's daughter, and she refuses, and that's like basically what the movie is. I thought it was way more like end of the world-y type thing. Like when you have the sword of destiny, I thought there was going to be like an end of the world situation, and the governor's daughter was like a chosen one or something. I don't know why I thought that in my head. I mean, it's been years since I'd seen it, but I don't know. To me, I was kind of disappointed that it was like smaller scale than that. I kind of wanted it to be like grander or bigger, you know, or even the Jade Fox, who's like portrayed as this ultimate-ish kind of bad person, and Chow Yun-Fat's been after her for like most of his life and hasn't been able to do it. And then it's revealed that she really isn't that big of a threat.
No, not at all.
Really, right? Like, she isn't a threat at all. She uses the coward's way out to kill people, and that's poison.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of a non-factor, and I'm like, I kind of wish that she was a bigger factor. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things I liked in this was the theme on women, where like in the movie or that time of the time period, women were viewed not as great as they should have been, and that was the Jade Fox's thing. She was like, she was trying to empower women, and she just kind of turned into a bad guy in the process. I kind of wish she would have been like a more bigger, badder person, and more powerful, and like maybe even a little more sympathetic with that angle. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. That's just me though. Like, I kind of wish it was bigger scale, but maybe I just thought it was, and I disappointed myself in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like when you're talking about that she's supposed to be this big bad, but she's really not a big bad, because 30 minutes into the film, our main character, this legendary swordsman, puts her in her place like so easily during that fight where it's like 3-on-1, and Jade Fox like is beating all these guys, and then Cho Yun-fat's character shows up and just wipes the floor with her. Like, it's not even close. Mm-hmm. So then she's just, I kind of forgot until like the last 10 minutes, like, oh yeah, that's right, she's still out there. Like, I'm afraid of Jade Fox. Yeah,
and then in the end, they kind of dispose of her, and the only reason that Chow Yun-fat isn't dangerous because like she hit him with a poisonous dart, which is, as I said earlier, viewed as the coward's way of killing someone, because it's kind of a sneaky way to get someone. But I don't know. What did you think, Haley? About my points at all? Am I just dumb here?
Yeah,
or what
no, I can see exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just how I felt. But I don't. Would you give it for a score?
I gave it an 8.2. I think it was a really enjoyable movie. Like, so it was really like visually appealing. But I don't think it's necessarily a movie I need to see again. I'm glad I did see it. If someone asked like, hey, should I watch this movie? I'd say, yeah, go see it. But it's not something that I need to watch every year.
No, yeah, I totally. I hadn't seen it in like 10 years, and like that was fine. I'm glad I saw it again, but I totally get what you're saying. Did you give it a score, Josh, 1 through 10?
I did give it a score, and actually I'm copying your wife here. I gave it an 8.2.
Ooh, copycat.
Yeah, big time.
No, I think we're all pretty good. I gave it an 8.5, and I'm notorious for giving out higher scores than Haley, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
I initially had it as like, because I went back and rescored like a bunch of movies that I'd seen in the last whatever number of years. And I initially gave this an 8.7, but then rewatching it and getting that little bit of disappointment, I was like, all right, this is an 8.5 to me. But apparently watching on Netflix, there's a sequel on Netflix. I didn't know that. Did you see that?
No,
so,
I didn't see it.
Michelle Yeoh is in it.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a show, like a miniseries. So I might have to check that out. Because you're right, like this is right up your alley, Josh. I mean, this is up my alley too. I like this period or time period era of things, the mystical aspects and the sword fighting and all that. I mean, I just bought a couple like Kurosawa films, which aren't the same time period, but it's, I mean, they're dating yourself back a little bit.
Yeah. Well, no, I added to the list of shows that I should check out. So.
Yeah. I guess quickly before moving, I had a couple other like not trivia, but little things here. So this movie holds the record for most Oscar nominations for a foreign film with Roma.
Oh, okay.
With 10 Academy Award nominations. This was pitched to Michelle Yeoh as Sense and Sensibility with martial arts. Cool. And Ang Lee did pitch. Both, so that makes sense.
Yep.
Jet Li turned down the role of Lee Mumbai, Chow Yun-fat's character, to be in the movie Romeo Must Die, which was I never saw it, but a terrible movie from what I remember.
It's not good at all. It must have been a payday thing, because he would have been awesome in that role, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I already went over this was the second best picture nominee for Ang Lee. So Ang Lee has won 2 Academy Awards, but neither of those movies won Best Picture. So Life of Pi didn't win Best Picture, but he won Best Director for it. Brokeback Mountain didn't win Best Picture, but he won Best Director for it. That's happened 4 times, so he's one of 4 people to win multiple Best Directing Oscars and not have either of those movies win Best Picture. The first name I didn't recognize, and that's Frank Borzage. I don't know who that is. George Stephen is the second one. I have seen both of these movies, A Place in the Sun, which I think was 1950, won something around there, won Best Director for that. And then Giant, which I saw recently. That's like a 4-hour-long epic about Texas oil like conglomerates back in the 50s. It has Elizabeth Taylor, Rock Hudson, and actually and James Dean was in it, and he got nominated for an Oscar for that movie, like posthumously. So, and then the last one, other than Ang Lee, is very recent. It was the winner of Best Director last year, Alfonso Cuarón, because he won Best Director for Gravity, which didn't win Best Picture, and then Roma, which didn't win Best Picture. So, so there you go. And last thing, he was the first non-Caucasian to win Best Director, Ang Lee. So when he won for Brokeback Mountain.
And what year was that?
2000, and it was the year Crash won Best Picture. So 05, he became the first non-Caucasian to win Best Director. So
really?
Took that long.
Holy crap.
Kind of sad, but just kind of sad in its own
Just
right,
a little bit.
Yeah. So anyways, but then Parasite won Best Picture, so maybe people will open their eyes up a little bit more. So All right. So moving on to the next section. Did you want to take us in, Haley?
Yes. So now we've got Gladiator, which won the Best Picture for 2000. It was directed by Ridley Scott and written by David Franzoni. We've got Russell Crowe starring as Maximus. He's like a Roman general. Joaquin Phoenix plays Commodus, who becomes like the Roman emperor. His sister is played by Connie Nielsen, and then their dad, Marcus Aurelius, is played by Richard Harris, who goes on to be Dumbledore in the first 2 Harry Potter movies.
Yep.
So it's just so funny watching him. Like, all I hear is Dumbledore, like listening to him talk in this movie. And I mean, he filmed that like almost right after Gladiator was done.
It was,
so, Djimon Hounsou is also in this too. He's not a major character, but he does interact with Russell Crowe's character Maximus, kind of in the ring and stuff. So just want to throw him in there as well. Like we were saying about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, that had 10 nominations?
Yeah.
Gladiator had 12 that year.
I think it had the most that year. So
which is crazy. So they had 12 nominations and 5 wins. And the wins would be Best Picture, Russell Crowe for leading actor, costume design, which I already kind of touched on, also won for sound and visual effects. And then the other nominations were supporting actor for Joaquin Phoenix, Ridley Scott for director, also nominated for original screenplay, cinematography, film editing, set decoration, and then Hans Zimmer had the nomination for original score, which that really bummed me out that he didn't win for this.
I can't, looking at the nominations, I just assumed that he had won, and the fact that it didn't, I was like, what in the hell happened? Like, yeah,
so Crouch, so here, we talk about wanting to make changes. I would switch, because Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon won original score. I would swap that out with costume design.
Don't make that decision yet. People haven't made their case for those categories yet.
I'm just saying,
Matt,
I think Gladiator has a better score.
Matt, it feels like Haley has proposed a trade that I'm willing to accept.
We'll talk about it in Real Justice.
Okay.
Because score is one of those 5 categories.
No, it isn't. Oh, yeah, it
is. I guess I lost that section.
Oh,
we'll still go over it.
It's fine. It's all good.
Yep, it's fine.
I'll be quiet now. You can go ahead.
No, you're fine. It's just, I thought that was funny, though.
That's awesome.
So yeah, Gladiator. One thing I wanted to bring up before getting into the breakdown, right? So for the Best Pictures, we always kind of break down the synopsis a little bit. But so when this movie was made, apparently I read this somewhere, they were required to write a sequel right away, like as part of the contract for making the movie. It was like, okay, we'll write a sequel. So I guess they were prepared for it in whatever way. At one point, the sequel was going to star Russell Crowe, even though, I mean, spoilers for everything. These movies came out 20 years ago. He dies at the end of it. Apparently, at one point, the sequel is going to be him time traveling in the afterlife.
I mean,
Just bring in
I do like the afterlife kind of scenes in this, that maybe gives me a little bit more intrigue. But
I think since then it's changed where they still might make a sequel where it wouldn't really have Maximus in it at all. It would be centered around Lucius, which is the kid, the nephew of Joaquin in it. So I just wanted to bring that up really quick. Also, when we put this in we have it on Blu-ray, when we put it in the PlayStation to watch it and the music started playing on the menu, I just didn't want to turn it off. I just wanted to listen to the menu music.
It's so good. It's so amazing.
So good.
I mean, it's pretty good. We'll get into that later, but it was...
I think I know which way that category is going. I'm just throwing that out here right now.
No, we don't know.
Okay.
So
this might be Parasite gaining momentum at the end, and you don't see it coming.
Exactly.
We don't know. Anyway, I mean, Josh, this is one of your favorite movies. I didn't know if you wanted to. Did you want to do a breakdown of it and talk about what happens in this movie, kind of from start to finish, or did you want me to do it?
If you're gonna hand off the baton, I'm fine with
that. Go for it. Yeah, hey,
so,
you're a guest star. Go for it.
So this is one of my favorite movies, so I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible. But also, just a little quick aside, my mother took me to see this in theaters. I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
Which is not something that a 10-year-old should be watching. But considering I had already seen the Alien franchise and John Carpenter's The Thing, I was a messed up kid. So anyways.
I don't judge because I tell Haley this. My dad sat me down and I watched Blazing Saddles when I was 6 years old.
Oh God.
And so it's fine. It's fine. We have parents that are good because they bend the rules for us a little bit. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh yeah, I'm glad my mom did it, but I'm just anyway, so breakdown of the film starts actually in 180 AD. It's the last campaigns of the Roman army against the Germanic forces. So kind of zoom in on the final battle. The General Maximus, who is Russell Crowe's character, he's the star general of Rome. He's the guy. All his men are loyal to him. They love him. They win the battle. And then you get introduced to Commodus, who's the emperor's son. The emperor is Marcus Aurelius. His son Commodus shows up, and you can immediately tell that Marcus Aurelius loves Maximus more. He actually values him as a man more, thinks of him more as a son. So there's this tension between Maximus and Commodus.
Yeah. He actually tells him, right, you're the son I should have had.
Correct. Yeah, he says it right to his face.
Yep.
So you feel a little bad for Commodus until he decides to kill the standing emperor when he's told that he's not going to become the next emperor. So his first order of business is to take care of the competition. He sentences Maximus to death. Maximus is able to escape his death by a really awesome fight scene and a really awesome line. Just remember, frost makes the blade stick. So then he goes racing off to try and save his family, who has also been condemned to die. Unfortunately, he doesn't make it there in time. His wife and kid are killed. He's picked up by slavers, and he's thrown into the fighting pits out in the various regions of the empire. So eventually, he kind of becomes famous in the pits, and Commodus is having games to honor his father. He comes back to Rome. He ends up winning a battle in the Colosseum, meets Commodus face to face, but because Maximus is so well loved by the crowd and the mob, Commodus can't kill him. So then Commodus keeps trying to kill him in the ring, while there's also a coup to overthrow the emperor that happens. All culminates in Commodus facing Maximus in the arena after Commodus has stabbed him literally in the back to try and weaken him. So he's not full power, but Maximus ends up killing the emperor. And then, like you said, with the afterlife scenes, he ends up kind of fading away, and the last images of him kind of walking into the afterlife, seeing his wife and son, which is really, really cool and touching. And I definitely didn't cry.
Right. I mean, this, and it has something to do with the score. Not to talk about that too much, but this movie is surprisingly emotional at times. Part of it is because of the score and the music that's going on with it, especially at the end. So, no, I completely get what you're saying. I didn't cry either, but no, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what happens, right? The synopsis of this movie can pretty much be 3 sentences. The general who becomes a slave, the slave who becomes a gladiator, the gladiator who defies an emperor. Mm-hmm. That's like the tagline of the movie.
I would say, did you just come up with that? Like on the spot? That was really good.
Pretty good, right? Definitely not the tagline of the movie or anything. But yeah, no, I mean, this movie is right up my alley too. It's in that time period or that period of time that I like seeing. It's kind of shades of Spartacus and Ben-Hur. Yeah. You know, that gladiatorial stuff. I watched the show Spartacus too when it was going on, which is like the same era. So this is right up my alley, and I definitely love this movie. This is one of the last not maybe one of the, but it's an epic, right? It's one of the few epics that in the 2000s have maybe been around. So no, I hear you. I absolutely love this movie too. I've probably seen it like maybe 8 times, maybe more. I don't know. So definitely one of my favorites too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what'd you think of it, Haley? I've got more to say too, but we can.
I was gonna say you two have definitely more of a love story with this movie than I do. So you are more than welcome. Just keep going. It's fine. It's a really good movie. I had seen it. I think you and I watched it, I don't know, a number of years ago. And then we were pulling our years out of the hat to watch our Best Picture winners. Watched this, and I feel bad, but I fell asleep.
My wife fell asleep the first time she watched it, too. Lindsay fell asleep when we were dating, like 3 months in. We watched this, and she fell asleep. I was like, oh, my God, I might have to break up with her. This is horrible.
And so, when I knew that we were coming around to this one guy, I'm like, can we watch this again? Because I definitely fell asleep the last time. And I think I tried hiding it, but I'm like, I don't remember enough of this movie to be able to talk about it. So we got to watch it again. I mean, it's one of those, like, great stories about, like, perseverance and overcoming obstacles, and it's like the good underdog story kind of taking out like the bad guy that no one likes. So like it's one of those stories that you can't help but cheer for Maximus, you know.
Yeah, it's a redemption story, right? Like he gets knocked down, he becomes the lowest of the low, and he's got to fight his way back. So yeah, no, I like how too, I mean, kind of getting into like parts of the movie now that I liked. I like how he's anonymous for a little while because Commodus thinks he's dead. Like his men lied to him and said that they killed him, but obviously they didn't. So he's going around because the games weren't allowed in Rome at the time because Marcus Aurelius actually outlawed it. So he's a gladiator outside of Rome. And he's going as the Spaniard, and he's just built this reputation as like the ultimate badass gladiator. So I like that whole part of it where he's like building his reputation as a gladiator, and there's 2 or 3 fight scenes where he's just mowing down people like by himself in the ring, and that's always cool. That's when another famous line in the movie pops up. Are you not entertained? Probably the more famous line of this movie pops up.
And I would say one part that I like too is like when it's him and like a bunch of these other gladiators in the ring, and kind of going back to his like general type roots, if you will. He's like, hey, like if we fight together, we can win. Like instead of like every man for himself, but for him to say, no, let's all work together. Yeah, it was really cool.
That's one of my favorite parts of it. That's the Battle of Carthage scene where Commodus is allowing
the
games.
Recreation.
Commodus is allowing games back in Rome to honor his father, which Maximus is like owner, Proximo. He even says he's like, it's kind of funny because Marcus Aurelius is the one who banned us, but whatever. But yeah, they're given the Battle of Carthage, which like you said is a recreation of a real battle where Maximus and his men are supposed to get slaughtered because they're going up against chariots and everything. And yeah, you got the general and him comes out and he organizes them to to get the W. And this is when he's wearing the cool helmet too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite parts of this movie. I mean, I know you're gonna say like the entire movie, but what were some of your favorite parts of the movie, Josh?
So jumping out, some of my favorite parts are the little parts. I mean, we love like the opening battle scene is so cool. Battle of Carthage is really incredible, but the little moments are actually where I love this movie the most. The little when Maximus gets the little statues of his son and wife back from his previous servant, and his buddy comes over and says, what do you say to them? And, oh, I tell my son that I'll see him soon, to keep his heels down when he's riding his horse. To my wife, that is not your business. Like just those little funny bits, like when they're sitting around eating and, Maximus brings his bowl over and they look at him like, no, don't eat it. And the big, giant Germanic dude takes a bite and pretends to die. Like just those little...
He starts choking.
those fun little bits, I think, are what makes the movie. When you have Commodus just completely breaking down in between big set pieces. Like, and now they love Maximus for his mercy, so I can't kill him. Like, just oh my God, just I love those little parts because I think that's really when the acting kind of shines. Even though this is a big action, this is an epic, those little interludes are really where this movie's made.
Oh yeah, I do. I love the ending too, where Jaimin Hansu's character is like burying the statues and saying like, I will see you again, but not yet. Like that's really cool.
Yep.
Which oddly enough, that was supposed to be Proximo doing that. But the actor that played Proximo, Oliver Reed, he died during production.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. So
How did I not know that?
There's actually a couple scenes where he is completely CGI, Proximo's character.
Oh, like when he's getting killed. I'm gonna have to go back. And
when he's getting killed, he's like a dummy, and that one's kind of, you can kind of notice like he's just a dummy that they're stabbing. But the scene that you can probably tell the most, kind of right before that, when he's giving the keys to Maximus, when the men are trying to break in and kill him, that like his face there is like CGI.
Oh God, I gotta go back and watch this.
Oh,
I did not pay attention to that.
Gotta go rewatch it. Go see it again. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that I like about this movie too. The action is awesome for the most part. The computer, like the CGI, hasn't really aged that badly at all. Like there isn't too much that's bad.
I think it's really held up.
Because this won visual effects, like the Oscar for it, mainly for like the recreation of the Coliseum and everything, but it dates pretty well. I'll say, I don't know, it's kind of needed, but a part for me that kind of gets boring throughout it is the political aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I think that's just politics in general when they're in a movie, or kind of the boring part of it. I know, Haley, that's the stuff you don't like in Star Wars.
Yes. it was one of those things, like as a kid, like you just kind of pay attention to the sci-fi stuff and you watch it when you're older. I'm like, so Star Wars is about politics?
Yeah.
It's like, what? I didn't even, like, that totally went over my head,
Yeah, so like, I mean, in this movie, there's obviously political storyline to it too. Like Maximus is told he's going to be emperor, but then Commodus kills his dad before he can actually announce it to anyone. And it's all built around this idea of Marcus Aurelius doesn't want Rome to be an empire. Like he doesn't want to have a dictatorship or emperor anymore. He wants it to be a republic. And then that's why Commodus kind of kills him, and he wants to stay being emperor. And that's why, in the end, Maximus makes it a republic again. So there is like that whole political storyline going on with the senators and everything. That's the part where rewatching it, that's where I kind of get a little bored. His whole escape scene.
I don't think it like overshadows anything, though. Honestly, not for me anyway. So
no, I'm just saying this is a 2.5 hour long movie, and that's the stuff that I get a little bored with, like rewatching it. The first time I saw it, I didn't care. It's like, this movie's awesome, start to finish. But I'm just saying, like, political angle of it can I don't know. It's needed though, right? Like you kind of need it in a movie. So I don't know. I don't know what you would change. So I guess I'm presenting a problem without a solution, but that's what I do as a fan. So.
Oh man, yeah, no, but though it gets a little long. The movie is the runtime is listed as 2 hours and 51 minutes. That is a really long movie, and I mean, all Ridley Scott movies are really long. Especially if you watch like the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven, like I think that's 3 hours plus. So I know that's what he does, but yeah, some of those political scenes get a little long. Some of the fight scenes, like in the beginning, got a little long. I was kind of watching it when they do like the slow-mo fight where it's trying to like disorient you a little bit with like the fog of war, and it goes on for like 2 straight minutes. It's just a little long, but that's me picking nits.
No, I get what you're saying. It is kind of, it does grab your attention early on though, right? Like to start a movie out with a battle scene, like gets your attention pretty early, which is kind of nice. But yeah, it can get a little long, as you were saying. I guess the only other thing that I wanted to bring up with this is something that a lot of critics or other people say negatively about this movie, and that's how historically inaccurate it is.
Oh, it's really bad.
Like, to me, I don't really care that much because the movie itself is still entertaining. Like, and it doesn't say like, oh, based on a true story at the beginning. It does like it does have some text cards where it's like describing what's going on in the world at the time, but whatever, it's a movie. Some of it's going to be fictionalized, but I know that that's something that a lot of people say are like, this movie is flat out wrong on a bunch of things.
It's horribly wrong. So Marcus Aurelius actually was the first emperor to institute that his lineage, his heirs would actually take the throne following him. So his whole, I want to give it back to the Senate, it's the complete opposite. He wanted to make sure it stayed in his family. So he actually had Commodus for 10 years being co-emperor with him. So it wasn't this whole like shock that, no, you're not going to be allowed to be emperor. So when Marcus Aurelius died, Commodus took over at the age of 19 in the empire, and this actually is historically correct. He was like the worst emperor like ever. He was horrible. He was a royal jackass, but it's mainly because he was like a spoiled rotten brat. It's like a 19-year-old kid being able to take over his father's business. Like, it's just, it might end horrifically, and that's what happened. Marcus Aurelius wasn't a real person at that point. The originally way saying like, look at that map. That's the world I built. And it's like Marcus Aurelius didn't actually expand the empire any versus what it had been previous. So there's a couple of little inaccuracies. The guy who says you are cursed dogs in the beginning in Germanic, that's a Scottish actor with a Scottish accent saying present day German. It would not have been like that back in 180 AD. So that was wrong. But yeah, so, but yes, a lot of people have panned it for being inaccurate, but at the same time, it's like, it's a movie, like, enjoy it, because it was really well done.
Yeah, like, then that's what I care about in a movie. If it's something where they're really claiming or pushing it to be true, and they're just flat out lying, that's when I'll take offense to it. But when it's a movie about,
I mean, it's
gladiatorial age,
historical fiction. Like, that's how I look at it. So
exactly,
no,
it's fine.
So I hear you. Last bit of thing before we give out our scores, I think, on it. So it's probably not the last one, but this is one of the few in the last 20 years or in the 2000s or whatever box office hits that I can think of that won Best Picture. So this was number 2 at the box office in the year 2000. I feel like these days that isn't necessarily so, where it's like the box office hit is the one getting the Best Picture noms and wins. I can think of like Avatar, right? It got nominated for Best Picture, but then it didn't get the win. But this was number 2 at the box office in 2000.
Behind what?
Yeah, what was the number 1?
It was Mission Impossible 2.
Ooh.
Really?
The worst one of the franchise. And then number 3 was Castaway. Number 4, What Women Want. Number 5 was Dinosaur. That 3D animated Disney dinosaur movie. No one. I saw it in theaters. It's like an allosaur is the main.
Are you thinking of the good dinosaur?
No.
This was more like the CGI, not animated CGI one,
like 3D.
I think it with the monkeys on Madagascar too.
Yeah, monkeys raise him. He's a dinosaur, like an allosaur or whatever, and monkeys raise him.
I think it's Albertosaurus because allosaur is a carnivore.
Well, all right. We have our resident dinosaur expert on here. I like it.
Dropping some dinosaur knowledge.
Yes, because I've seen all the Jurassic Park movies, so I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, those are laced in fact. So yeah.
Yeah.
Here you go. I'm bringing it up on IMDb
I'm wrong. Albertosaurus was a carnivore. Damn it, dinosaur. This is great for the listeners at home.
Familiar at all?
Oh, all right. Yeah, I totally saw that in theaters. Yep. Yeah, the opening scene is like the egg of the main character getting plucked out of its nest and being like carried away by all these flying creatures and then landing in like this group of monkeys that then race him. So.
Yep.
Did dinosaurs and monkeys even live at the same time on Earth?
It's like Gladiator. They're kind of loose with the facts. It's all right.
Yep. And it's an iguanodon, by the way. That's what it is.
Oh, so we were close.
Yeah. Apologies to all the listeners at home as we're furiously typing our
no one's listening anymore. It's fine.
Harsh. So this is either going to be the best episode or the worst one. So there we go. Okay. Anyways, all right. Yeah, we'll get off dinosaur here. Haley, what score did you give Gladiator?
I gave Gladiator an 8.5. To me, it's a really good movie. It's just not my all-time favorite.
Josh?
So I was thinking I was going to come in at a super, super high score on this. I actually came in at a 9.3. And the reason I dropped it a little bit is because while Gladiator did a lot of things great, I feel there's a lot of films that have kind of done things better. Like some of the fight scenes we've now got, like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, The Witcher, where like really up close fight scenes are really awesome and the camera work really works with it. Like I never thought there'd be a villain worse than Joaquin Phoenix's Commodus in terms of being like super manipulative. And then we got Joffrey in Game of Thrones. Like it's just, there have been characters that have elevated it to the next level. So I think it's still great, but there's some things that could have been better.
Okay. I gave it a 9.7.
Oh. So
it's really high for me. I mean, I said all those things that I didn't love or thought could have been better about it, but I still love this movie. I mean, I could watch this movie from start to finish at any point. Yeah, this was always kind of close when people ask you like top 5 favorite movies, this was always kind of one of the 5 I would include. I don't know if I would right now, so don't ask me, but it's up there. I mean, I think Russell Crowe is great in it. Joaquin Phoenix is his first Oscar nomination. He's good at being bad in this movie. So yeah, all high scores there. All right. Anything else on Gladiator from anyone?
No.
Okay. All right. On to the next section, which is real justice. So we've done this before where whenever there's a year where like something wins Best Picture, but there's like a consensus that like maybe something else could have, in the general public, we'll try to bring it up and, debate about it a little bit. So in 2000, Gladiator obviously won Best Picture, but Traffic won Best Director. And I think there's a number of people out there who think that Traffic should have won Best Picture. So that's what we're going to be talking about here. So we've done this in the past in the 5 categories of score or music, cinematography, writing, acting, and then historical importance. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do, since there's 3 of us, we'll do a little bit of a different take on here where Josh will, maybe we'll each do score, like you won't do all 5 at once, right? We'll take turns in one and then move on to the next. But you're going to talk about Gladiator in those categories. And then I'll talk about Traffic in those categories. So this is where we watched 3 movies for this episode. So
Matt and I watched Crouch. I think we watched Gladiator on Friday night.
Yeah, that sounds right.
We watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon on Sunday. I'm like, cool, we got our movies done. Fine. And then like Monday after work, you're like, well, we need to fit in Traffic. I'm like, what? Why? Like, because that's our real justice. I'm like, why did I watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? Like, I was literally like, why have we watched so many movies this week?
Movies, damn it, movies.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. It was gonna be like, let's just review Traffic and then break down Gladiator and then do the real justice on them. But I saw Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon there with Parasite Wait. I'm like, okay, let's watch it. So yeah, there's a lot of work that went into.
Plus, now I was saying this might be the first year that we've reviewed of the Best Picture winners that I've seen all of the nominees for that year. So now I've seen all the nominees for 2000.
Did you a favor?
Yeah.
You're welcome. So yeah, all right. Let's get into score. Josh, you can go first and talk about why you think that Gladiator should win for score.
2 words: Hans Zimmer. Mic drop. I'm out. Like you talked about, you made my argument for me. Thank you so much. When you put in the Blu-ray and the menu comes up and you hear that music, it's so empowering. It's so incredible. I think Hans Zimmer, he's just a fantastic composer. Obviously, he worked on the Pirates of the Caribbean score as well, which is really, really good, which is actually what my wife said when we pulled up the menu. She goes, wait, this sounds like Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes, because it's the same composer. But I think it's just really empowering, and I didn't get that same feel from Traffic. But I'll let you.
Okay. I figure we could each have like a minute tops if we wanted to on this, just a short, or 30 seconds.
5 seconds. You get 5-second pitch.
Okay, whatever. Well, anyways, okay, so that's your point. Well, I'm glad you said what you said, because you just brought up what my point was going to be, and that's Hans Zimmer is great, but most of his music is the same thing, right? Like, your wife thought it was Pirates of the Caribbean? Might as well then. Like,
there are literally...
Hey, whoa. I'm making my point, but you calm down. You calm down. So yeah, Hans Zimmer does the same thing like over and over again. And then come on, like, okay, Traffic, we all saw it. It doesn't have a dramatic score like Gladiator does, but it has like an eerie score because of the subject matter. It'll make you feel a little uncomfortable when things are going on in that movie because of what it's about. And then come on, that last scene where Javier or Benicio del Toro, he's at the baseball game with the lights on and that inspirational music it comes on, and then those final credits start rolling. I mean, that's a great score right there.
Thank you both for your pitches. But Gladiator takes this hands down.
Yes.
I did not even once notice any music in Traffic. I never noticed it.
It's because of how subtle it was and how it fit into the story.
Yeah. Gladiator is one of those that, like, it sticks around with you. I've told you this. Like, sometimes I just listen to, like instrumental music when I'm studying or trying to focus on stuff. And I always like mixing in, like, movie themes. And I was in the other room one night, and that end kind of theme song from Gladiator comes on. And Matt, you're in the other room, and you're like, are you listening to Gladiator? Like, it's one of those things that's recognizable and sticks with you. So, Gladiator.
All right. That's the one I knew would be the hardest.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. You made a good try.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, cinematography, set design.
All right, I'll go first this time. We'll switch a little bit. Okay, cinematography, set design, Traffic. Okay, so I know when we watched it, you kind of brought this up. They kind of went innovative with this a little bit with the color filters.
Oh, yeah.
So for each storyline, they did a different color filter on it. So you could, one, distinguish between the storylines, but two, just give a different feel to them. So, those scenes with the Mexico storyline, when they have that yellow filter on there, and then with the backdrop of the desert scenes in Mexico, that right there, I think, is really just, unbiased, because I knew the score was going to, I would go with Gladiator too on that one anyways. Those scenes right there are really cool, and I think they add to the story as itself. So it's really innovative what he did with the filters, and I just thought the colors, especially on the Mexico storyline, really popped.
Cool.
Well, as incredible as those filters and how they made that cinematography, those choices on that, the fact that we got to see the Coliseum in all of its glory
Visual
on the
effects.
big screen. Is that, am I jumping up? Okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, that was computer generated.
That's not real.
Yeah, it wasn't real.
Okay, when you are seeing Way to interject and completely screw me up. All right, fine. I'm out. I'm out on this category. Give it to Traffic.
Well, I am going with Traffic on this. I mean, both really have great styles, but yeah, Traffic is just a little more noticeable, a little more, I don't even know if innovative is the right word, but it was just a little more unique. So, Traffic.
Okay. All right. So 1-1. We're going. Which one do we want to do next? Writing or acting? I always like doing historical importance last.
Mm-hmm. Hey, dealer's choice.
All right. We'll go with writing.
Okay.
You got it, Josh.
Well, from a writing standpoint, we've already talked about how this is historically inaccurate. So for them to come up with this and make this up whole cloth, and for it to be such a gripping and moving epic that not only won as many Oscars and was nominated for as many Oscars as it was, but for it to be as popular as it was, clearly they did something right with the story. The characters are well fleshed out, and I mean, I've quoted now like 5 or 6 lines from it, but there are some lines that are just indelibly put into our lexicon. The "Are you not entertained?" So I think the writing is fantastic on this.
Okay, I mean, just because the movie has famous lines doesn't mean the writing is like the best. So I'll say Gladiator was nominated for writing, but did not win. Traffic was nominated for writing and did win. It won the Oscar for writing. And that's because it's superior in this category. Because it has 3 storylines that they're weaving together. I mean, that in itself is always great. That's why I like movies like Crash and other things like that, where you have this ensemble cast and these storylines are being weaved together. And I like Gladiator, but writing-wise, I mean, I said earlier, it's shades of Ben-Hur. They took parts of Ben-Hur, they took parts of Spartacus, and kind of put them together into this movie. It reminds me of, like we said before, Joker is kind of Taxi Driver remade with parts of Kings of Comedy. Yeah. Like, nothing too crazy there. Mm-hmm. It's a great story, but when it comes to, like, the actual, like, writing of the script and everything, I think Traffic has it hands down because of, you know, kind of what I've said already, but the weaving of 3 different storylines that all interconnect. And it works, and it worked well and seamlessly. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you both. I feel like I'm like moderating like the Democratic debates right now or something like that. Like I hear your sides and I make a little comment.
Yeah.
I am going with Gladiator.
Wrong, this. You're wrong.
Wow. And
you're crazy? This is Matt, like the easiest one.
Matt, I actually agree with you on this. I think the writing is better for Traffic.
It's so much better.
Here's the thing, though.
The judge has spoken.
The overall story. I like someone I can root for. Okay, there's no one in Traffic worth rooting for.
Don Cheadle's character.
Okay, fine. He's a minor character.
He's like the 3rd lead.
But the story isn't about him. He sits in a van watching Catherine Zeta-Jones.
The story is about the war on drugs. It isn't about a person.
But by the way, out of context, he's in a van watching Catherine Zeta-Jones.
I know.
That just sounds really wrong.
It's all right. Indiana Jones has a whip in the closet. It's fine. Fall back.
And honestly, there were several moments in Traffic where, like, there was a line that was, like, so cringy. I'm like, oh, my God. Like, who came up with that? That was terrible.
That was probably the point. What line was it?
I don't want to say it because it makes me uncomfortable.
What was it? Say it.
It's when Topher Grace and Erica Christensen are like in their like
hotel,
like drugged
den. They're getting high.
I don't need to go there, but yeah, I was just like, really, like some adult sat down and wrote this line, and Topher Grace is delivering
Stephen
it.
Gaghan, who wrote this and won the Oscar for writing this,
I'm flabbergasted that I won for writing.
I'm not
throwing that out there.
He pulled, this is like basically his childhood. Like he pulled, these are things that happened. He was addicted as.
That's sad.
Yeah. And it's accurate, unlike Gladiator.
Hey, Gladiator is an original story. Isn't it? Wasn't it original screenplay?
There you go.
So now we're saying original screenplay is better than an adapted screenplay?
No, I'm just saying.
Whatever. Okay, we're moving on.
All right, we're on to acting.
Matt's upset.
Matt, take it away.
Okay. Well, I don't even know what to think now. Okay. So Gladiator is basically a movie built on two characters, right? You got Commodus and Maximus, and Joaquin and Russell are great in their roles. They both got nominated. But that movie's basically those two, and that's it. Traffic is like an ensemble. It's got multiple storylines going on that have multiple characters within those storylines going on. And if one of those actors isn't doing a good job, it's going to just detract the entire film. So it's an ensemble cast. And all of them are great performances overall. Like if you want to narrow it to two people, yeah, Gladiator's going to be better because the top two people are, they're great at what they're doing, but it's just those two. This is like 8 people are all great in their roles, and there isn't really a lead because it's an ensemble cast and they all have something going on. I mean, Michael Douglas, great as the dad who's dealing with a daughter addicted. Even Erica Christensen, who was, I don't know how old at the time, but she was great in her role as the addicted daughter. Don Cheadle, always great. Luis Guzman as his partner, hilarious. But then even the other actor, Catherine Zeta-Jones, is great. Benjamin Bratt in his small scene was good. I mean, this is just from top to bottom. Overall, this is just a better acting.
I really wish that at the beginning we would put just a little disclaimer saying that we both love these movies and think that they're fantastic. That we're just picking nits at this point. But thank you for making my argument for me in the beginning that this movie is based around 2 actors. It's Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix, and these are just, when you are going to talk about them and their careers, these are the 2 roles that are going to be at the top of their filmography. Maybe Joker for Joaquin Phoenix at this point, but these are the
Walk the Line. Come on, Walk the Line's ahead of Gladiator for Joaquin.
I don't know. Okay, you might have me on that one, but I will still say when you talk about just iconic roles, these are 2 iconic roles. These are actors. This is kind of what launched them into stardom to a certain degree. And I think that when you look back and you put these 2 movies next to each other and you go, what are the great roles? What were the great acting performances? You're going to take the first 2 in Gladiator before you take any of the ensemble cast. You can have the entire ensemble cast from 3rd to 8th place. I don't care. I still got 1st and 2nd place in Gladiator.
I would.
Hey, no rebuttal.
Whoa.
We haven't had rebuttal.
I get a rebuttal. Give me one rebuttal. Give me one. All right, fine. I know you had these pre-typed up, but go with your own feelings based on what we just said.
I'm going with Gladiator.
Shit.
Yes.
For that exact, you hear Gladiator, boom, you think Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, they carry it, they deliver. Traffic, I had no idea who was even in this movie because I'm not saying they're bad performances, but it's not as consistent. There are ups and downs. Some people are fine, some people are whatever.
The listeners at home are just missing out on Matt's facial reaction.
For the record, Benicio del Toro, I would put ahead of Joaquin. He won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for this movie.
I think
he is phenomenal.
Everyone in the cast phenomenal?
No, but you're saying Russell is phenomenal and Joaquin is really good. Well, I'm saying Benicio is phenomenal, and then the rest of them are also really, really good, and there's more of them. So just in quantity, this should win.
I mean, I don't think I can give, good casting if Topher Grace is involved.
Wow! Fired. Oh, Topher, if you're listening, I love you as an actor if you're listening.
I just can't help but
Topher Grace, come on the pod.
As shit, now I can't remember his name. That 70s show. Eric Foreman.
Yep. By the way, if I can say something that's going to make Matt even more apoplectic right now, yes, Benicio del Toro had a much better, I think he deserved the Oscar over Joaquin Phoenix, and I actually think that Russell Crowe should not have won Best Actor. I think it should have been Tom Hanks for Castaway.
Okay.
Well, he carried the movie by himself. Just saying.
Literally, yeah. We'll bring that up in the next or second to last section after this after this debacle that's going on in Real Justice. All right. Well, I think Gladiator already has 3 of the 5, but we'll go into the last one anyways, just to humor me. So historical importance. Who went first last time? I did. So you go, Josh.
Okay. I think this movie holds a little bit more historical place than Traffic. And that's not really a shot at Traffic, but when you think of a kind of a movie or a show that really interweaves 3 different storylines when it comes to the drug trade, a lot of people are going to be thinking about the series The Wire when it comes to that. And that's no fault of Traffic's. It's just The Wire had a little bit more impact. But Gladiator, you think about kind of as a launching point for Russell Crowe's career. He does Gladiator, then he does Beautiful Mind, Master and Commander, Cinderella Man, 3:10 to Yuma, American Gangster, Body of Lies. Like, he just goes on a run of films. So I think just from a historical standpoint, that might have a little bit more weight. So is that Toby or the cat that just got in there?
That's Toby. He's
okay.
Starting to ask for some attention. All right. So my take is Gladiator is a fictionalized version of a period that we are well past and doesn't really matter anymore. Traffic is about a subject matter that's still current today, and that's war on drugs. So I think this taking a great look at the dealer aspect of it, the parent like dealing with their kid aspect of it, the Mexico side of like this current war on drugs. I think that just makes it more relevant and important to the world of today because it's something people can actually relate to.
Okay, so because we kind of use this as like the tiebreaker and like the true like winner. Okay, right. So really, what I think, Aaron Brockovich should have won Best Picture that year.
Oh my God, we're gonna have some issues.
Thank you for your 2 pitches, but in the end, that's how I really feel.
Okay, we'll get into that. All right, so Real Justice, Gladiator wins. For the record, I defended Traffic. I would have still picked Gladiator, but I would have picked it for a score. And where am I going? I would have picked it for a score. Historical importance because I think it's more memorable with all the lines of it and everything. And acting, I think I still would have given acting even though with my pitch. I do legit think the writing is better in Traffic.
I'm with you, Matt. The writing, and to be honest, I think the set design for Traffic is better as well. So I think it goes 3-2 on that one. But the fact that Haley flipped that on you is it's so amazing. The listeners won't get the look on your face when she said that and you just freaked out. It was so great.
Oh man. Okay, here we go. So, David, we've already done a little bit of this already, but I always like, basically from 1990 to present, I kind of like reworking the nominees and the winners because I do 1990 because that's when I've been alive. So I've seen most of the movies. I'm not going to rework stuff from the 50s or 60s too much. So, yeah, I don't. Hey, you kind of like lead us through this a little bit. Do you want to start from the bottom up, going category by category?
Sure, yeah. You want me to list each? Okay, so for Best Supporting Actress this year, Judi Dench was nominated for Chocolat, Kate Hudson for Almost Famous, Frances McDormand for Almost Famous, Julie Walters for Billy Elliot, and then the winner that year was Marcia Gay Harden for Pollock.
Okay, Josh, did you come up with other people that you would want to plug in here, or? I
didn't come up with anybody on that. I couldn't really think of anybody else that should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actress. I mean, I haven't seen. I'll cop to it. I haven't seen Pollock, so I don't know if that should have won. But I did see the other roles and thought that everybody that was in that category should have been nominated. But I don't know if they should have won over. Marcia Harden. So
yeah, so I don't have any new nominees in here either. The only change I have is with the winner. We had actually rewatched Almost Famous recently, and I love Kate Hudson in that movie, and I think she actually won the Golden Globe too for this year for Best Supporting Actress. So I would flip it. I would give her the win over Marcia Gay Harden. I mean, nothing against. She's been nominated a couple times. Like she was in Mystic River, and Pollock is really good. But I just really like Kate Hudson, and I just really like Almost Famous as a movie more. So I was kind of giving it some love there.
But that's got to be a vote split, right? That's why she didn't win. If you're saying her performance was that good, usually when you got two in the same movie, kind of splits it.
Yeah, like with Frances McDormand. Yeah, that's always a possibility. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure if that happened here because I think the consensus is Kate Hudson was the better of the two. But yeah, that could easily have something to do with it. So.
Yeah. So moving on to supporting actor, we have Jeff Bridges for The Contender, Willem Dafoe for Shadow of the Vampire, Albert Finney for Aaron Brockovich, Joaquin Phoenix for Gladiator, as we've already mentioned, and then another that we've already talked about, Benicio del Toro won supporting actor for Traffic.
Yeah. So for me, I'll go for me. I wouldn't change like a thing in this. I hadn't seen The Contender, so I don't really like knocking a nomination out all the time because of that. But I like Jeff Bridges, so I'm just going to keep him in there. Willem Dafoe is always great. I've seen Shadow of the Vampire. It's kind of a weird role to get a nomination for, where he's playing the guy who played Nosferatu in that original movie. And the rumor was
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and the rumor and the angle they take with this movie is he was actually a vampire. So they kind of play with that a little bit. And it's
so weird.
Kind of a weird movie to get nominated for, but I like that. I like it when it's a little different. Albert Finney, I mean, you love Aaron Brockovich, Haley, and he's great in that.
It's so good.
So
good.
Keep it in there. And Joaquin, this is his first nomination, and he's great as Commodus. But I do think Benicio del Toro was the best out of all these, and he was phenomenal and the best part, in my opinion, in Traffic.
Matt, I couldn't have said any better. Benicio del Toro wins this. I couldn't think of another actor that should have been popped in here. I have seen all these movies, and I do like their performances, so I'm totally fine with the list as is.
Yeah, fair enough.
Moving over to Best Actress, then we've got Joan Allen in The Contender, Juliette Binoche in Chocolat, Ellen Burstyn for Requiem for a Dream, Laura Linney in You Can Count on Me, and then Julia Roberts won for Aaron Brockovich.
So Josh, you can take the lead on this one if any changes at all.
So I let's see. This is going to be weird. I haven't seen Requiem for a Dream or You Can Count on Me, so I can't speak to those at all. But I do think that this one goes hands down to Aaron Brockovich. Like, no argument. I thought the way she played her character in the movie Aaron Brockovich was just absolutely incredible. I actually watched that for the first time ever about a year ago and was just blown away at how good she was in it. So yeah, I've got no argument there.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a hands down Julia Roberts. She finally got her Oscar, but it wasn't like a giveaway. You know, sometimes your first win, like a Paul Newman for The Color of Money, it's like, okay, you deserve one for your career, so here's an award for this role. But no, I think she was the consensus best actress for this year. I'm not going to change any of the nominees either because, I haven't seen You Can Count on Me or The Contender. I do like Juliette Binoche in Chocolat and Requiem for a Dream. You haven't seen it, Josh. I don't know, Haley, have you seen Requiem for a Dream? Yeah, creepy movie. Ellen Bernstein is really good in it, so I'm going to leave her in there. The only note I had on here is, for some reason, Hilary Swank, who had won the Oscar the year before for Boys Don't Cry, was nominated at the BAFTAs for Boys Don't Cry this year.
Interesting.
So I don't know why a year later. I tried looking into it and couldn't find anything, but it was like a weird delay for some reason. Like, she was nominated the following year, but she won the Oscar the year before. I don't know. It was kind of weird. That was the only note I had, but so I'm not really changing anything on this one.
Cool. So for Best Actor, the nominations were Javier Bardem in Before Night Falls, Tom Hanks for Castaway, Ed Harris in Pollock, Jeffrey Rush in Quills, and then, as we've mentioned, Russell Crowe won for Gladiator.
All right. So the only change I would maybe make So Russell Crowe is getting the win. This is his only win. He deserved it. I know he didn't win the Golden Globe. I think Tom Hanks won a couple of the other like awards and different ceremonies. But someone who wasn't even nominated that I kind of want to get in here is Jamie Bell. So he was nominated for a SAG and a BAFTA for Billy Elliot.
Oh, sure.
And I want to give him some love here. So I'm going to take Jeffrey Rush out for Quills and plug in Jamie Bell to get him a nomination. Someone else who's kind of a borderline nomination for this year was George Clooney for Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? But I don't necessarily think that's enough to get him into the nominees here. So that's really the only change I would make, but I'm still giving the win to Russell.
Cool.
Yeah. As much as I love Gladiator, as much as I love Russell Crowe's acting in that movie, I really think looking back that Tom Hanks actually deserved this Oscar. And I know that might be blasphemy, but the fact that Tom Hanks is on screen for like 90 straight minutes just by himself talking to a volleyball, and we all love that movie, it just speaks to his acting, chops. And I really think he should have won it. I just that's going to be my big switch, is just put Tom Hanks in that one. But yeah, actually this reminds me, and I can't believe we haven't talked a little bit about this Oscars, but this was the one that was hosted by Steve Martin, or one of the ones that was hosted by Steve Martin. And at that point in time, Russell Crowe was actually getting death threats when this was happening. And he got on stage and goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, we actually have some important news. We have discovered who has been sending the death threats to Russell Crowe. Tom Hanks, you bad, bad man." Like, so I just that's my 2 cents, is that Tom Hanks should have gotten it.
No, that's fair. I think Tom Hanks is like the one Russell is kind of quote unquote battling, no pun intended, with for the win. So Castaway, he is that movie, right? He's like the only one in it. So that's fair, totally fair.
So I'll touch on Best Director. We have Stephen Daldry for Billy Elliot, Ang Lee for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Ridley Scott for Gladiator, and then Steven Soderbergh was nominated twice. Once for Aaron Brockovich, and then he won for directing Traffic.
All right. Josh, who went first last time? I'm blanking. It was only 5 minutes ago.
You did.
Okay. Josh, you got it?
Only 5 minutes ago. So I had no idea that Steven Soderbergh actually was up for 2 movies, and that he had done Aaron Brockovich. So that was kind of shocking. But I'm fine with him having won it. I think that all of the correct directors are actually up this particular year, given that these were all the movies that kind of owned the year, with Billy Elliot and Aaron Brockovich and Gladiator, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Just I think they're there, and I'm fine with Steven Soderbergh winning for Traffic. I'd prefer Ridley Scott, but I can't fault Traffic winning it. So
no, that's fair. I mean, it is crazy that he got nominated for 2 movies.
2 separate movies. That's pretty incredible. That is
really crazy. But I am going to do a couple changes here. So that's cool that he got nominated twice, but I'm going to take away his Aaron Brockovich nomination because he's just being greedy here. So I'll keep him nominated for Traffic. I'm not going to give him the win though. I'm going to plug in, by the way, the director for Requiem of a Dream, Darren Aronofsky. I'm giving him a nomination.
Okay. Which
I know neither of you have seen that movie, but it's nuts. So I'm giving him a nomination in place of the Steven Soderbergh, Aaron Brockovich one. And then I was trying to decide between Ang Lee and Ridley Scott for Best Director, because Ang Lee he won every director award leading into the Oscars. He won the DGA that year, going into it. But I'm going to give it to Ridley Scott. I think Gladiator, just being the large scale epic that it is, it's always impressive for a director to kind of reel that in and make it as good as it is. And Ang Lee would go on to win 2 Oscars anyways. So I'm going to give Ridley. He's never won an Oscar for Best Director, so I'm going to give him the directing Oscar here.
All right, so final category here, Best Picture nominees were Chocolat, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Aaron Brockovich, Traffic, and then the winner was Gladiator.
Yep. The only change I'm going to make, because even though I defended Traffic, I wanted and like that Gladiator won Best Picture. The only change I'm going to make is I'm going to take out Chocolat for Best Picture, which I'm kind of bummed about because that's a good movie.
It is.
Like,
it surprised me.
Yeah,
and I didn't think I would like it.
And it's a lighthearted movie, which is kind of nice seeing those get recognition every once in a while because they always don't. So I kind of feel bad doing it, but there's a movie out there that I like more than it, and that is Almost Famous. I love Almost Famous. Rewatched it recently, and I'd forgotten how much I like it. So that barely got any love. I mean, it did win writing, but other than that, the only other big nomination was Kate Hudson, and she didn't even get the W. So I got to plug in Almost Famous for Best Picture over Chocolat. But then the rest of it I'm keeping the same. The rest of it makes complete sense.
Yeah, I'm keeping it exactly the same. I'm taking Chocolat out. Nothing against that movie, but I think that either Castaway or Almost Famous would have been a better nomination at that point. Just because that's, no offense to Chocolat, those movies still kind of hold up where there's some knowledge of it present day. If you're not a movie fan and somebody goes, "Did you ever see Chocolat?" What are you talking about? Like, nobody really, it's not at the same level of remembrance that those movies are. So, but that's, hindsight.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Ooh, also after looking at this list of films or movies that came out in 2000, there is one thing I want to change going back to the Oscars a little bit. I forgot that Snatch came out in 2000. That movie is another one of those multiple storylines kind of interweaving with each other, so I need to give that movie some love, especially since I love it so much. So I think I'm going to squeeze that into Best Original Screenplay, not normally a category we talk about a whole lot. Looking at this, nominees are Billy Elliot, Aaron Brockovich, Gladiator, You Can Count on Me, and then Almost Famous won. So I guess I'm going to knock out You Can Count on Me, written by Kenneth Lonergan, and I'm going to plug in Snatch, written by Guy Ritchie. Got to give that movie some love.
So that's kind of our reworking. I was looking at this, and Haley, I know you looked at it a little bit too. 2000 was a huge year in film. Like, we thought 99 was huge. Here's a list of some movies that came out in 2000. I'm going to shorten this a little bit and not list off everything, but Final Destination, High Fidelity, American Psycho, U-571, Chicken Run, The Patriot, X-Men, Pokemon the Movie 2000, Space Cowboys, The Replacements, Remember the Titans, Digimon the Movie, Meet the Parents, Legend of Bagger Vance, Little Nicky, Red Planet, Mission to Mars, which they're like the same movie, but whatever.
They are.
Mission to Mars is better.
Yeah, I agree with that. Rugrats in
Don
Paris.
Cheadle?
What?
Don Cheadle?
Yeah, Don Cheadle is in that. Yeah. Big year for him. Traffic and Mission to Mars. Rugrats in Paris, Unbreakable, What Women Want, and Battlefield Earth, which swept the Razzies.
As it should have.
That John Travolta movie. So there's a lot of movies, like good and bad, I guess. A lot of movies came out in 2000. I just kind of wanted to note that there's some winners there. I remember seeing some of those in theaters. So
that's a really good 2-year run, 99 into 2000, with all of those movies, considering it was, like The Matrix was the year before that, American Pie was the year before that. There's a lot of stuff that was kind of important culturally that came out those 2 years. So.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, totally. All right. So yeah, this is our last segment. We haven't done this in a while, 6 degrees, but we have 3 people here, so it'll make it a little more interesting.
You mean more terrible?
No.
It's going to be rough.
We'll be fine. So yeah, we'll connect. I mean, they came out in the same year, right? So it won't be that difficult. We're going from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon to Gladiator. So do we want to go me? Then what order do we want to go in here?
Does not matter.
We'll just say if either of you can come up with, if any of the 2 people can come up with someone, we'll just keep it going. So Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I guess I will go with Chow Yun Fat.
Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End.
Yeah, he is in that one. Yep.
Okay, so I'll say Johnny Depp.
Okay. I will go with, I don't know, Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, Christ. God, it's been so long since I've seen that movie. Who the heck else is in that? Haley, can you save me on this one?
Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Okay. No. I'll okay, well...
Okay,
Here. Winona Ryder, Alien Resurrection.
Okay. I guess Sigourney Weaver is the easy one. I could have went with like Ron Perlman or something, but
I figured one of those two is where you would go with it.
Yeah. We'll go with Sigourney Weaver.
You're looking at me very intently.
Oh,
like
I don't
want me to say.
No, I don't mean to. You always just assume I am.
I'm gonna say Avatar.
Oh, all right.
It's Sam.
Yeah.
Why am I not thinking? Sam Worthington.
Yep.
Well, Sam Worthington.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can think he did a couple movies after Avatar and then fell off the map. And
Yeah, he completely disappeared.
Anything since. I'll go with the new Clash of the Titans movies.
Clash of the Titans. I'm gonna go with Liam Neeson.
I'll say Love Actually.
Ooh, ensemble cast. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's a couple options there. Okay.
Oh, I figured out a path.
Oh, well, look at you. Well, let me think. Let's see if I can think of it here. In my head, I want to say either Alan Rickman or Emma Thompson, but Alan Rickman? Okay, I'm going with Alan Rickman. Josh?
Haley, is this what you were trying to go for? Alan Rickman to any of the Harry Potter movies?
Pick one of the first few, though.
Yes. Oh, Christ. Sorcerer's Stone.
And I'll say Richard Harris.
All right, and then I'll say The Field.
Shut up.
Which has Sean Bean in it. Okay, let's keep going. Gladiator.
Gladiator, we're back there. Oh
my God.
That probably could have been shortened up, but I don't know where, so that's fine. I forgot about Richard Harris. Good job using Richard Harris. All right, I like it.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, we'll edit.
Well, and what's funny is I was like, oh, Emma Thompson's in that, and she's in the Harry Potter movies, but when you said Alan Rickman, I'm like, oh, I think it would have to be Alan Rickman, because she's not into, the last
later
movies.
No, you're right.
Which I don't think her and Richard Harris ever overlapped.
No.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, which movie did he end up dying after? Was it the third one?
The second one.
Second one? Okay.
The third one was the first one that Michael Gabon, one of those two, starts with a G. That's when he first came in. It was the third one. But okay, no. There we go. That was the show. That's probably going to be one of our longest episodes, but that's all right. We had 3 people, and hopefully it was fun for everyone.
Dude, this was a blast. I had fun with this. As nervous as much as I probably fumbled over my words, this was a blast. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
You're fine.
It was awesome having you. You did a great job. Really fun having you. So
other than the real justice, I think you two are in cahoots on that. I still... I agree Gladiator would win, but the ones that you pick, I
only had to win 2 categories after Haley announced that she's going to give score to Gladiator. This is easy. I just need 2.
Oh man! All right. Well, anyway, so this has been the Oscar Reel Movie Podcast with guest star Josh Goch. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
For the listener, what are we doing our next show? Yeah,
so next episode we haven't picked the other movie to review yet, but the best picture winner is 1975. Which, do you remember which one that is? Quiz, impromptu quiz. This is the second movie.
I know 74 and 76, but I can't remember 75.
Oh, but that's the one I'm asking about.
I know. What is it?
It's the second movie to win the top 4 main Oscars in picture, director, actor, actress, starring Jack Nicholson.
Oh, I know.
Oh, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep. So that's the next review. We haven't decided on what the other movie will be yet. We'll figure out along the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, for people still listening, and maybe Josh, I don't know, if you haven't yet, subscribe, rate, review. I want more 5-star ratings. Give us some good reviews. So please do so. We're at Oscar Reel Pod on social media, like Twitter and Instagram. So please follow, and I always try tweeting out new trailers and stuff like that when they come out. But yeah, other than that, this has been Josh, Haley, and Matt from the Oscar Reel Movie Podcast.
Go see a movie this week.